What's going on, everyone? This is September 17th, 2024, ROR Podcast, and today I'm just waking up, but of course, I wanted to do this podcast on the 8th day. This 8th day also happens to have a lunar eclipse, right? And apparently, from things I've heard about the lunar eclipse, no one can fully predict what would happen, most likely through a lunar eclipse. But I think that person is just trying to compensate for their lack of knowledge within that space. So I think that whatever it's hitting you in the specific houses is where it's going to affect you. I think you would refer to somebody more informed on that, but I think that's how it's happening. But today, yes, I will be fasting. I tried recording these videos two times. I might just add the other one attached. I might just add another one, attach it to this video here, because there's a lot of good information on it. I'll probably have a video up. I went to Wildwood and, I had a good time, and I got really messed up, I should say, in a more appropriate manner. Yeah, it was, a very good time, and I think that this fasting is just so needed. And I'm just so excited to get started with it. There was a story I was trying to bring up in my last video. It was about tarot. So I might just clip it onto this part now. So anyways, thanks for sticking by me, guys. And here comes Past Me. Hi, this is going to be podcast entry number 3. So I had made a video down the shore previously, but it was way too windy, and I'm just not gonna sit there and siphon through the audio and it was pretty long anyway, so I just want to get straight to the point of things. That the whole title of that video was honesty. The topic of the entire video was honesty in it, and I had brought up examples of my life. Considering this is the road to redemption, I had examples like the first girl I dated, and how when that fell apart because basically I like to drink, and I loved Jaeger as a kid, 19 or so, and I drank it, and I was pretty messed up. The dad drove us back home, because at the time I think my car broke down, and he didn't want her talking to me anymore. Even though we were both adults, it just didn't make sense at the time, and I was just so pissed off, and that's what led me to believing that she's lying, and other things of that nature, which I didn't really describe up until this point. But my behaviors of not being authentic to who I am. So if I were to have not drank and really shown and not did crazy shit and really shown who I was, and this is another thing I've been watching too, observing for myself. If I lower my drinking to 1 or 2, so then I would be able to perform or to show people who I actually am. And maybe being drunk is who you actually are, you know? Like, maybe that's something that we can't fully comprehend about ourselves, at least for myself, you know? And how honesty plays a role in even learning tarot as well is what I was getting at from before, because a lot of people online, they like to have this pretentious attitude about what they do and how they do it. It's not just in the tarot community. It's in the grand scale. You see somebody my age, they've gone through walks of their life. They've achieved some type of degree or some sort of certifications. And because of that, it gives them a sense of entitlement. Because they have achieved something. I'm not taking away from that. They probably worked very hard for that. But it gives them an excuse, either naturally, mentally, or subconsciously, that it's okay to treat people like they're less than, or that they don't know what they're talking about because I also stated that I had went to school for college, but I never finished. I never got a degree and I dropped out, but I devoted my time to learning a practical amount of information so I can use it in my everyday life to basically express what I try to convey to other people, because we're all not compatible. And so what you try to do is really try to cater to people's way of life. So a lot of people would tell you that treat people how you want to be treated. That's just major projection. The way that you want to be treated could look entirely different than how somebody else may want to be treated. So by understanding somebody, it's honestly doesn't really entirely play a role. Instead, the true honesty, but if you actually uncover it, the true honesty is that you're trying to be authentic and honest, and you actually care about the person you're around, so you develop your skill set around that person, and maybe you can even help them in the future. And that's the underlying message of honesty, that it's deeper than a white lie or treating somebody differently when you're another way. It's about making sure that the best outcome possible is everyone getting along and a healthier environment. Because if we taught people, if we showed people the way that they wanted to be showed, instead of projecting all the time through ourselves, so many people could be a lot more richer. So many people could know so much more information and be motivated to live. Less people would want to kill themselves, just for example, you know. And that's why it's so important to understand these things. And when you're going into tarot of this nature, I had 4 ground rules in that video that I described, and it was 1, be crazy. And then the second one was from that previous video, which it was, learn psychology, right? Or learn some sort of thing that will help you. It could be any sort of psychology. It could be, like, I use analytical psychology, developed by Carl Jung. It's a little different than you go to school psychology. You learn, I think, Dean. That's particularly who works with, like, mainstream psychology. 3 is learning how to actually read it. And a lot of people online are going to tell you that you got to look at the book, read the books, know the history, this, that, and the third. That's not entirely necessary or true. Like, you can be a scholar at tarot and know everything about where the cards come from, etc., etc. But when it really comes down to it, it's your own perception of what you're seeing. That's why instead of telling you to hit the books, I would then tell you to go to art galleries or develop a vivid imagination or an opinion. And I had pointed to the ocean in that last video, and I said, what does this scenery remind you of? And I was in Wildwood, and I was explaining how it's not really my favorite beach to go to begin with because the beach is so far from the boardwalk. And what I described when I showed the view was that it looked lonely. Isolation is the feeling I got from it. Not good. It's very strange, the energy you get. It felt like I was in the desert. It felt like there was no water in sight, like I'm trapped. That's really the vibe Wildwood personally for me gives me. But if it was you in that position and I showed you the beach of Wildwood, I can see how somebody would say that it's beautiful. The ocean's a lot more clear than the other oceans on the East Coast. I don't know. It's up to your own imagination how you perceive things. And then you can get to the cards, not know a single thing about, for example, we can pull out a card here. The Five of Wands. You have no idea what the Five of Wands means, but what does it describe to you? You know, the feeling I get is a hand race, a celebration, having fun. The way that the hands, they just jump up in excitement. Should I say the plant, part of the plant just kind of just like, it's just so excited to live life, almost like it's ready to give you a hug in a way. So passionate, so energetic towards the way of life. And then we can also look at it from a different perspective. So maybe your way of life is really holding back your potential with the fifth wand behind this entire area. Maybe you're overindulging. Maybe you, just for example, like that, those are the kind of things that you want to develop. I didn't read that from a damn book. All I did was explain to you what I felt from the card. I think from the book's point of view, Five of Wands is a naturally negative card. It's combative. You fight a lot. But here on the Tarot de Marseille, and that's why it's the ultimate deck to actually learn, because it helps you. It plays into that role of what tarot is meant to be, not this wanting you to. It's like these designated labels for them. There is no labels. The tarot is a neutral tool. Tarot is a neutral card deck. So, in that note, through this neutral understanding, you get your true perception of it instead of a forced perception of it that keeps you less minded. And you're going to claim to be somebody that is a professional and that, you know, brought here by God or something narcissistic that a lot of these tarot readers like to say, then I would suggest not using these apprentice tools like the Rider-Waite and pick up a card, pick up the Tarot de Marseille. Prove it. Like, why are you using an apprentice deck when you could be using the master deck? You know, that's just for example. And of course, I'm going to project my own authority in this matter. But it's really to say that you can learn. It's not coming from a place of like, and I keep it to myself. It's only certain people know. Anyone can learn it. You can learn it too. It's not hard. Like I said, develop your own perception of it. And the fourth and final rule for tarot is be honest. You know, if you having trouble with understanding and somebody's there, just say, hey, it seems a little bit difficult to understand for me. You need more practice. Or hey, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I can read 30 years into your future and have it be accurately predicted for you. You give them a reasonable conclusion or an idea of what they see, and that's that. And just say, like, you know, it is what it is. Because tarot, what I've noticed too, is it can overextend itself, if that makes any sense. So, for example, you can be oh, something's going to trap you, and that's going to get somebody up riled up, somebody who's, a little bit more insecure, should I say. But they could be trapped because they not emotionally, not in a relationship thing, not in this area that they don't want to be at, but maybe they locked their keys in their car. And good afternoon, this is Future Me back again. My phone had previously died that night, and so I'm back to basically explain to you why that's happening and why my throat chakra is being attacked right now, because it's almost like my voice wants to stop. People, or more specifically these readers, don't want you to know that they're just human, just like me and you. And that's why they don't want me speaking about it. They do not want me telling you the secrets to read it for yourself. I live by the understanding that if everyone used this tool, this world would be a better place. Because people would understand how to combat, how to navigate. And plus the fact that what I just said in Rule 2, learn a level amount of psychology. Would you really be mad at the people when you understand truly why they're doing what they're doing? No. Because guess what? You would feel pity for them. Marcus Aurelius that's what he would say. And during this lunar eclipse, or eclipse in general, I don't know which one it is, to be completely honest. This is my wish for the people, for myself, that we all become better. I fast because of it. I refuse to game because of it. Entertainment. I denounce evil. I get rid of evil entirely from my area of life, from what I perceive and what's realistically possible. And I was gonna spend my wish on a girl I want, or more money, etc. Because guess what? Those are all selfish at the end of the day. We need to come together. And there's another thing Marcus Aurelius said that I like to stay true to, and you say your prayers openly and honestly, so no one can misinterpret what you're saying or what you truly wish. This is what I wish now. But anyways, thank you for sticking by me, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.